baie mense wat graag na hierdie opname gaan wil luister. So I've started the recording. Thanks very much. So this evening we're talking about prosperity for all our minorities in our new country, in the UCS. So I'd just like to welcome everybody on the call this evening, and also if you are listening at a later stage, very welcome. You are going to have a great deal of entertainment and education this evening on this call. I am sitting in Johannesburg as we speak, and it is pitch dark. My computer unfortunately doesn't last very long when the power goes down. So all the text that I prepared, the introduction to Christo and Elroy, I don't have access to them. So I just want to introduce, as to the best of my ability, Christo and Elroy. Elroy Baron is the Vice President of the United Liberty Alliance, die vice-president van die Verenigde Vryheidsalliansie. En Christo Wiese sluit vanaand by ons aan. Elroy is 'n oud what do you call it, Elroy? You were in the prison services, die gevangenisdienste.
Ja.
En ja.
Vandag hulle noem dit vandag korrektiewe dienste, maar daai tyd was dit die prison services, ja.
Daar sê. Okay, so Elroy was heading up the prison services in the Cape area in Oudtshoorn. And he became very disillusioned when he suddenly realized, after power was handed over, that it was only going one way. And for the colored community, most definitely, because some of the employers in the Cape area were turned completely against any employment opportunities for colored people. And so he got involved with the ULA, and he's been involved for a very long time now. And if you've listened to some of Elroy's podcasts and his interviews with radio stations, you will know that he's a man not to be trifled with. He knows what he wants. He knows that where we're going, and there is nothing going to stand in the way. Christo Wiese is one of our EXCO members and he's looking after the financial portfolio. Christo was involved with the Reserve Bank of South Africa some time ago. He's a very well-traveled person, setting up banking systems all over the world. So, without having anything else in front of me, Christo, I hope I've summarized that fairly well.
Well, I not setting up. I was a specialist, or probably still am, a banking specialist, and I worked for the IMF, and specifically looking at improving banking systems. Yes, yeah.
There we go. Okay, fantastic. And Elroy, ek het jou redelik goed voorgestel, hoop ek. Wat los ek uit?
Ek kan miskien net byvoeg, Brett, ek was 'n aktivis. My hele lewe is aktivisme om ons mense te bevry. Ons mense het bevryding nou nodiger as ooit. En hulle soek iets om aan vas te hou. So ek is 'n aktivis, die belangrikste.
Daar sê, en soos jy sê, dit is presies wat ons nou nodig het. En hoekom ons die groepe, al die groepe van enige agtergrond probeer bymekaar trek om hierdie ding vir ons deur die waters, deur die drif te sleep, en in ons nuwe land voorspoedige en vreedsame toekoms kan bou.
Ja. Elroy is nie 'n inbreek. Elroy aktivis nie, ek dink jy is 'n patrioot. Jy's daar's 'n groot verskil, maar 'n groot patrioot, ja.
Dit maak baie sin. En jy Christo, wat hoe sien jy jouself?
Wel, ek sien myself as 'n gelowige. Ek is 'n gelowige. Dit is vir my baie belangrik en deel van my lewe. En ek spandeer baie van my tyd in die woord. En ook jy weet saam met like mind and like kind.
Daar sê, okay. Fantasties. En ons soek natuurlik na al mense van enige lewensbeloop om by ons aan te sluit in ons strewe na hierdie nuwe land. Van enige agtergrond. Claire, okay. Claire's got her hand up. Thank you very much, Claire. I've added you to the channel. You're very welcome to unmute yourself now, and then you can chat with us. Go ahead, Claire.
Hello.
Can you hear me now?
Claire, I can hear you clearly. Welcome.
Okay.
Good evening.
Now?
Yes, there we go.
Can
I can
you
hear you.
me?
Yes, I hear you clearly.
I think I'm unmuted.
Yes, you are. You're loud and clear. You obviously can't hear us.
I don't want to waste time. Mute me again if it's not going to work.
Okay, go ahead. We hear you. Okay, let me try and
Just mute me if it's not going to.
Okay, Claire, try again. Unmute yourself. Claire seems to be having some technical issues there. She'd like to talk to us. Claire, you just need to unmute yourself again. All right.
Brett?
Oh, yes, Peter.
Sorry, can I just jump in here quickly? Can I just ask everybody that is not actively talking just to mute themselves, because there's some background noise sometimes coming through, and it sort of interferes with the person that is talking. So if anybody that is on the call, just mute themselves, and just don't forget to unmute yourself when you want to talk again. Sorry. Thank you.
That's right. Yes. No, thank you very much. And we also, it's obviously in terms of the quality of the recording, it makes a difference. Claire had her hand up first. We're going to have a couple of people putting their hands up. Claire, I've added you again to the channel if you'd like to try again. Okay. So it is an open call this evening. People, you are welcome to add yourself or put up your hand. We'll add you to the channel. And then we can talk. And that's really what it's all about. So while we're waiting for people to get their thoughts together, Elroy, kan ek jou net vra om vir ons bietjie meer bietjie te praat oor hoe jy die finansiële toekoms sien van van ons nuwe land wat tans, jy weet, nog onder die rand is en so aan, daai verskywing na 'n nuwe geldstelsel. Ons het natuurlik vir Christo hierso en hy gaan vir ons al die tegniese spesifieks gee, maar hoe sien jy dit werk, Elroy?
Ek wil net aan die luisteraar sê dat in die nuwe land gaan ons nie van 'n belastingsisteem gebruik maak nie. Ek kan nie eens onthou hoeveel belasting ons uiteindelik betaal nie. Ek dink Christo kan miskien meer inligting gee, maar ek weet dit is oor 100 verskillende soorte belastings. Ons gaan gebruik maak van 'n transaksiefooi. Op die stadium 'n transaksiefooi van 5% met geen belastings wat betaalbaar is. Nou as 'n mens gaan kyk, baie mense val op hulle rug en sê hulle, ja, dis onmoontlik, hoe gaan hulle dit regkry? Om die waarheid te sê, 5% transaksiefooi is eintlik meer as wat ons nodig het. Is eintlik baie meer as wat ons nodig het. Ons het eintlik 2% nodig. Maar die rede vir die 5% is dat ons gaan in 'n nuwe land in en ons gaan in 'n land in wat gedestrooi is, vernietig is. Ons was op 'n stadium was Suid-Afrika 'n eerste wêreldland. Vandag is ons, weet jy of ons eers kan sê ons is 'n derde wêreldland. So ons wil weer teruggaan na waar toe ons was. So ons moet gaan opbou al die sisteme wat platgeval het. Soos byvoorbeeld, ons weet die SOE's bestaan nie meer nie. Hulle het lankal gekollaps, hulle is droog gesteel. Maar ons het nodig om alles wat gewerk het, soos spoorweë en weermag en lughavens. Ons het nodig om daai goed weer te gaan optel en te gaan herstel. Maar ons het ook nodig om onze mense wat verval het in die nuwe stelsel in. Onze mense het nie meer werk, ons weet wat sê die statistiek in Suid-Afrika. So ons het nodig om ons mense te gaan herstel en dis die rede. Met ander woorde, ons het nodig om weer factories te gaan begin, fabrieke. Ek het nou die dag geluister aan Tito Mboweni. Toe sê hy in 'n gesprek, weet julle, ons in Suid-Afrika maak nie eers meer 'n waslapie. As jy 'n waslap omdraai, sien jy die waslap se naam is Made in China. So ons in Suid-Afrika vervaardig niks. Dis hoekom aan die werk is. So ons het nodig om in die nuwe land alles te gaan opbou wat vernietig is. Met ander woorde, van die 5% af gaan ons nie meer raak nie, ons gaan minder raak. Soos wat ons groei en ons infrastruktuur weer terug in plek sit. Ons weet wat gebeur met Eskom. Gisteraand ook huis toe ry, toe sê hulle van my Eskom het nou net aangekondig, hulle gaan onmiddellik begin met fase 2. Dis goed wat nog nooit gebeur het. In ander woorde, hulle sê eintlik die stelsel het gekollaps. Maar die mense verstaan dit net nie. So ons gaan daai goed opbou en dis hoekom ons 'n transaksiefooi van 5% gaan vra, sodat ons 'n nuwe land weer kan sit op die plek waar hy moet wees. Ja, dit is in kort.
Fantasties. Dankie Elroy. Dit klink als baie belovend. Christo, can I ask you a question before I hand over again for questions from our audience? I often get the question, people say we're going to be starting a new country, and as Elroy rightly points out, it's going to be almost from scratch. And in fact, sometimes it's better to start from scratch than to try and rebuild or repair what there is. That is initially going to take a fair amount of capital. Now, the 5% transaction is all good and well, and it makes a lot of sense. But initially there's going to be quite a substantial amount of capital required to set up the infrastructure and revamp and resurrect the government departments and stop things from getting out of hand in terms of people running amok in the streets and what have you. Now, where's that money going to be coming from? That initial injection of capital to get things going.
Thank you, Brett. As far as the you're starting off a new country, obviously you need a currency, and as we have promoted or indicated, we want to have the guilder, as which we will term our currency the guilder, which is then gold backed by I think a factor that we will, I think at least about 30%. This is what we anticipate. And once you have established your currency, obviously you will have you will have to issue your currency, and the people will start using your currency. And what we anticipate is foreign direct investment. People that want to come and invest in our new country. I think if you look at the history of the various countries, they've always people are excited about the new, breaking away, as Elroy had mentioned, fixing what is broke, getting new blood in, getting professionals in to manage the economy, to manage the country, and that is basically what. To answer your question, Brett, I think we will be getting foreign direct investment into the country because of the way I think we want to establish set up our, our financial system.
Okay, excellent. And that should happen fairly quickly once the sovereignty has been achieved.
Yes, I think this is something that can happen very quickly. It's not years. Obviously it'll have to happen quickly, and that is the way we anticipate it. Yes.
Okay, fantastic. And then obviously, how much of a contribution is the current running economy of the secession area of the new country going to contribute? I mean, there's already running businesses and income and from that. Is that going to immediately start contributing to the development? Because now taxes are pretty much going to fall away, or how's that transition going to happen from the current company tax and PAYE and stuff into the transactional tax? Is that going to take a while?
You see, the fact is you have to set up your payment system. Once you've set up your payment system, and that's something that you can plug in. I think that's not something that has to be developed. It's already been developed. So we have set up your payment system, and from there you will have the flow of funds into the exchequer, obviously, flow of funds into the economy and into the various active participants in the economy.
Okay, fantastic. Sorry, I'm asking these questions because I know there's somebody on the call this evening that's got some very specific questions, and I kind of want to lead into that. So my next question is, obviously there's an infrastructure needed once people have started exchanging their assets, be it liquid cash assets or whatever, for Gilder, and primarily it's going to be digital. For that revenue to start flowing into the government coffers, or the exchequer as you call it. Now that infrastructure needs to be rolled out, or is it already in place? This is my question. At all the retailers and the places where there is going to be transactions which are taxable.
No, you see all transactions can only be settled at one central spot. No transaction in a country is settled unless it is settled at the central bank in rand at this stage. So I'm talking about the payment system where you have settlement, and that's like a toll gate. So all transactions have to has to be settled. Yeah, it has to be. Well, the clearing is before settlement. You have clearing, and then you have settlement after the clearing, and the settlement must always be in the currency that of the country, and it must be at the central bank.
Got you. Okay, this is absolutely fascinating. I'm going to call now on Enid. Not sure what her surname is. Enid, you had a couple of questions that had us quite intrigued, and thank you. I see you've already unmuted yourself, and maybe you can put them to Elroy and Christo now, and let's wrestle through some of those issues.
Okay, hello everybody. This is
good evening.
Enid.
Welcome.
Elroy and Christo, can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, we can.
Okay, good. Okay, look, the question that I have, try to put it simply, is the question of the whole financial system and the banking system and money meaning all the aspects of money, bills of exchange, or, it's not just the money in our hand, but all the other forms of money as well. All has to be funneled through this financial system, so to speak. So if we can imagine this financial system is a whole set of plumbing pipes, you know. The part that we see, little me sees, is just the ATM machine, but it goes deeper and deeper and deeper and so on, okay? So what I'm asking is that if this whole financial system, as you mentioned, it all has to go through the single junction. I call them valves. You know, these valves have to go open and shut as the pipes go further and further. First tier bank, second tier bank, third tier bank, central bank, blah 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 blah. You know, it's something like, remember those old in the old days they had these vacuum suction pipes in the banks and even in the government departments, and you put your money or your correspondence paperwork in those little bullets, and in it goes in the pipe, and off it goes. So what I'm asking is, if the whole financial system as we've known it and as exists today, that whole plumbing mechanism machine, whoever controls that universally, okay, how do we then use it? For example, if we're divorcing ourselves through secession from South Africa, that's one thing. But are we divorcing ourselves from this corrupt system throughout the world? If so, it's like, for example, if you want to get divorced from your partner, okay, off you go out the door with the car. Means the car is in his name. He needs to know you can't take cars in my name. You know what I mean? So how do we, like, for example, in Orania, they've got their own money. That I can understand. They've got their own money. That you're allowed to do. Even small communities can have their own money. But you can't take that money and stick it in your Capitec account or spend it or you can spend it inside Orania, but you can't go and buy something in South Africa, you know, outside of Orania with that money. So, for example, if we have our own money system, our own currency, everything within South Africa, that I can see that's possible to do. But now, how does that money cross borders? Because it has to go in the machine. It has to go in the pipes. And it's the pipes that I'm worried about. Who controls those valves? Who controls those keys? Who controls those pipes?
Okay.
Because now we're back in the same system that we're trying to divorce ourselves from.
Yeah.
So
Okay, Enid,
that's
fantastic. That's a really great question. And before we get Christo to answer, I just want to say, Christo, I don't know if you noticed, but as Enid was talking, she was talking about we, an our. So she's already taken ownership, and I think most people on this group, and I hope most people on this group and most people who have given their mandate are using that same kind of language, that same kind of thinking of our financial system and how are we going to take control. I absolutely love it. Thanks very much. Okay, Christo, over to you.
Okay, to start off with, you know, the payment system, you know, that is, if you buy something, you know, by a card or you buy something, the payment system is the oil that oils the economy. You know, it of course it flows wherever the funds are designated to flow, and that's what the payment system does. It oils the economy. Then, if I want to just on the Oranje side, the currency that they have, it is not legal tender. It is a token, which is like a barter. It's a barter token, and it's only within that particular closed loop that they use that particular token for barter. If I want to go, we, for instance, if you have a currency that is legal tender, where you can use it to settle a transaction, settle a debt. That particular currency is then used, and how do you across border? Obviously, it is foreign. Your exports. If you export, you earn foreign currency, and that foreign currency then can be used to import again. So you have your balance of your trade, which is between your country and other countries. You have a balance of trade, and you have your balance of payments. That's where you have all your, as Edith said about all the forms of money that you. But to answer her question about the pipes, obviously, all of this is I wouldn't say the system is corrupt. I would say that it can be improved upon. The banking system as such, it is a service industry. It provides a service to its clients, and what it does, it provides payment services, lending services, whatever. If you have a deficit, you can borrow. If you have a surplus, you can invest. So that's what the bank does. It provides a service to its clients, and all the banking system as a whole provides a financial service to the whole country, and that's something that we would perpetuate. Obviously, is the banking system must provide a service to the clients. And as far as the money is concerned, obviously your currency, the strength of your currency will depend on your economy. How well is your economy managed, and how much goods you produce, and how much you export, how much you import. All of that depends on the wealth you create.
And Christo, this entire system, it might. Sorry, Enid has got her hand up. Let me. I think I might be just wanting to ask the same thing that that she wants to ask. Enid, I've added you to the channel again. Just unmute yourself.
Okay, I'm here.
There we go.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much, Christo, for that reply. I just want to say that if someone can just write it down there. I don't trust the system. Okay, the whole machine.
Well,
okay, now this is just me. You know what I mean? But I want to voice it so that it's been said. It's just something that I just want to say, and that the whole PAP system, the whole every legal tender, every financial instrument has to go into those pubs in some way or another. Either it's me putting money in the ATM, or it's the bank doing something, or it's the government submitting some bond, or whatever the story is. All of them has to go through this whole pub system. And the way my mind works is I look into those pipes with my torch, and I go up and I go up and up and up, and I say, well, who is controlling this whole pipe system? And that is my issue.
Yeah.
Many people talk about these people own it, those people own it, and so on. So I don't need an answer for this now. I just want to mention it, that this is a concern of mine. Are we divorcing ourselves? Okay, we're divorcing ourselves from South Africa. Okay, that's one thing. But are we divorcing us? Are we compromising? Are we divorcing ourselves from something much bigger that has got us where we are now? How did we find ourselves here? Is it that something bigger? And are we going to be compromising ourselves by messing around with the pipes and thinking that we can take the car with us out the door? So that's the thing. If someone can write it down there, and maybe one day we can discuss that in a little bit more depth. Maybe it's something that we can just talk about one day on its own and just throw some ideas around.
Can I maybe answer you?
Let's hear what Christo has
in the following way. I think, in my opinion, the reason why we're in this particular mess is that we have the government has built a machine of employees. It's building, of various, which the country cannot afford. It is, we must always cut our cloth, our coat according to our cloth. And the government just cannot afford the number of people that they've. We have the biggest cabinet in the whole world. We have people. These people are earning salaries that are over the moon. It's stuff that they've. They didn't think about tomorrow. They've just the cookie jar has been raided. They raided the cookie jar, and the cookie jar is empty. And that's why it's not. I don't think anything wrong with the financial system. It's nothing wrong with the way things are done. According to it's all. The market forces, demand and supply dictate. Where money goes or where money flows. But what happened with our government, in my opinion, is that they have just gone and so big that the country can't afford the government.
Christo, if I can just maybe put it in my layman's terms, what I think maybe Edith is also trying to say, the system, the financial system that we're going to be taking over and rebuilding in our new country, that is going to be fully controlled from end to end and every single bit of it by us. Or is there a larger IMF, EMF, monetary fund type of system that is going to have some sort of access or control over that system as well?
No. You see, what the IMF is basically looking at the wealth and the health and the wealth of the particular country. And this is the way because I worked for them for a while, and they don't dictate unless you borrow money from them. Obviously, once you start borrowing money, they put conditions, and they have you. But if you don't borrow any money from them, you're not beholden to them.
Right. Okay. And okay. To me, that makes sense. I hope Enid has a little bit of a peace of mind now. Enid, you still have a few minutes if anything else comes up. But I'd like to ask Elroy quickly. The financial, the system, the guilder is going to be primarily a digital currency. Now, Heine's mentioned, and Christo, please verify this or help me if I'm not right, that a certain part of it will be fiat as well. We will still have coins and notes.
So you have the fiat is not the fiat is not the notes. The fiat is the currency itself. If you look at South Africa as we sit today, that 96% of all transactions by value, not by a number, by value, 96% is already done electronically.
Okay.
And it's only about 4 or 5% of transactions is done in cash, physical cash, obviously, but it's a large portion of that. So as we sit here, that the fiat currency or the currency that we have is already been I wouldn't say digitalized. It's already been it's not the hard
electronic.
Cash
yeah,
electronic.
Okay.
That's the word I'm looking for. Yeah,
Okay.
electronic. Yeah.
All right. So I just wanted to get Elroy's input as well, because a number of people have said to me, but now if in the Cape, especially in the rural Northern Cape areas and so on, in the Makaland and what have you, a lot of those people don't have phones and they're not really into the digital or electronic age at all. They just want to stay with their notes and coins and, sleep with them in a tin next to the bed or something like that. Is there going to be a big mindset change required amongst those people, or is it already there?
Is dit nou my te Brett?
Dis nou jou toe, ja. Ja,
Brett, as ons 'n nuwe land begin, dan sal ons ongelukkig moet aanbeweeg. Ek dink wat is die dametjie wat vroeër die vraag gevra het? Enid. Ek dink Enid het die manier hoe sy 'n vraag gevra het, is vir my baie duidelik dat sy verwys na die systems wat die wêreld kontroleer. En ons wil wegbeweeg van die mense af wat ons kontroleer. Ons wil nie meer gekontroleer word nie. Ons wil nie beheer word deur een of ander system van 'n sekere plek af nie. So dis ook ons mense wat gewoond was aan die papierstelsel van geld. Kyk, ons moet onthou, Christo het vroeër gesê, hy is 'n gelowige ou. Nou ek kom presies van dieselfde bladsy af. Ons moet nou die Bybel sê, dit wat was sal weer wees. Die nuwe land koppel sy geldeenheid. Die Cape Gilder word gekoppel aan edelmetale, wat beteken goud en silwer en platinum. So dit beteken ons maak seker dat ons geldeenheid gerigstel word, laat ons hier werk heeltyd met dun lig, wat môre oormôre kan kollapse. Ons maak seker vir elke Cape Gilder wat daar is, as dieselfde hoeveelheid edelmetale wat ons backup. So ons moet maar ons mense educate. Ons moet maar vir ons mense leer hoe die sisteme gaan werk, laat hulle kan verstaan hoekom ons as 'n nuwe land seker maak laat ons nie ons geldeenheid steun aan niks. Laat ons wel gebruik maak van die edelmetale. So ja, education gaat maar ongelukkig nodig wees. En dis hoekom ons die 5% transaksie fooi vra, laat ons alles wat gedoen moet word in die nuwe land, dat ons dit kan doen. En education van die mense is deel daarvan.
En ek is 100% toe ek aanvanklik gehoor het van hierdie transaksie fooi, dit het nooit eers by my opgekom nie. En ek betaal al my lewe lank weg en jy weet nooit gedink dat dit is eintlik genoeg. Meer is genoeg nie. Hoekom moet ons nou al hierdie ander belastings betaal? But anyway, die feit dat ons 'n digital electronic system, the fact that we can have a digital financial system to accommodate the 5% transaction fee, because that I think is the only way, please help me if I'm wrong, that is the only way that we can actually enable that 5% transaction fee is through a digital transaction. So whenever people are using cash, being notes or coins, I'm assuming that they will not be subject to that 5%, or how will the 5% then work? And yeah, I understand Christo said that it's such a small percentage of all the transactions that go through. But will it still be subject to a 5% somehow if people are buying like a pair of shoes or something just with cash?
Kan ek gou inspring?
Ja.
Sure.
Okay, Pieter.
Ekskuus Christo. Nee, ek het maar net gedink het, jy weet, my siening, en jy kan my reg help Christo, dit maak nie saak of jy met kontant gaan handel. Kyk, ons kan nie 100% wegkom van dat daar nog 'n bietjie kontant in die omloop gaan wees. So you're always going to have a little bit of cash issued. But I think over time, that will slowly phase out. as people modernize, in any case. But for me, the 5% transaction tax will happen at point of sale. So, whether it's a dealer, whether it's whatever, and he's accepting cash, that at that point of sale, the 5% will still apply, irrespective of whether it's digital or hard cash.
Okay, understood. So the only time it's not interacting with the central system is if it's like a like a street vendor or something like that.
You see, if I may interject here, I think the beauty of if you, for instance, have a system very low cost, and this is what for the individual, we can run the system basically for the individual at no, it'll cost them nothing to use it'll cost them nothing to use the system, and therefore I'm just saying that it'll be to their advantage if they use it.
Absolutely,
because you don't have the security risk of money. You don't have to go to the ATM. You don't have there's no security risk, and you just think you can't have people robbing these cash in transit wagons and there's a huge plus factor if you go into this particular kind of system of that you have use it electronically.
Correct. I personally, I think it's absolutely fantastic, and as Elroy says, as we right from the word go, we need to educate people on how to use the system, and as you say, it's not going to cost people anything. So I think it's absolutely brilliant. One or two of the concerns that have been raised with me, Christo, as well, is that there's all this talk about the World Economic Forum or the IMF. I'm not sure which one that are pushing hard for a global central currency, and in order to control the economies and manipulate economies in all areas of the world. And it's actually going to be a programmed digital currency. So the coins you have are essentially programmed. So if you're spending them on things that the government don't like, that they can just lock your account or something like that. Now, people have said, but if we're going to move to a digital currency, isn't there a risk or danger that this is going to happen to? Aren't we opening ourselves to this easily done to us as well?
It's already there. If I want to, as I said earlier, the system that we have that's running right now, everything that they say is going to be bad, and it's already there, because people they can already see your spending pattern. Where are you spending your money? Where is your money going? Because it's all electronic. There's a audit trail of all your transactions already.
That's scary stuff. So all they have to do now is implement a system to say that if you're buying too many fast foods, then we're going to put up the price of your health insurance.
Well, these insurance companies are already using the data, as you know. You know what they do, and they're already using the data, which they have on all of their clients.
Yeah, and we just don't know it, and they even know where you are at any point in time as well.
Well, that's exactly, because you have your if you have with you, they know exactly where you are.
So what you're saying, Christo, is that the digital guilder, the Cape Guilder, is going to be not any different. It will still be possible to kind of data mine somebody's expense habits or patterns.
You see, as soon as you digitalize something, then immediately you have an audit trail.
That audit trail, yeah. Okay. It's just something we can't get away from, hey?
Yes. And so the audit trail then, let's look at the positive side. You can use all the data and draw up your income statement, draw up your balance sheet or whatever from your, because everything in and out, all the monies in and out is already on record, and it can, as you say, data mining can just be programmed in a fashion that you can use it to to draw up your income statement, your financial statements, your balance sheet or whatever.
Okay. Yeah, no, that is a positive. Yeah, and people who don't like other people knowing what they're spending their money on or their spending patterns, they're just going to have to go and live in a bartering community where I give you 3 chickens for your goat and 5 cucumbers for 2 apples.
Yeah, that's
the only way of getting away.
If you think about the way that when I started my career, and this was in the 60s, middle 60s, and yeah, you didn't even have an adding. We didn't even have an adding machine. You had to do everything mentally. Now,
oh goodness, you didn't even have an abacus. Sorry, Christo, carry on.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, where
okay.
have you ended up now?
Yeah, it's progressed. No, absolutely. It's quite phenomenal the way technology has moved us forward. Sure, we've been busy for quite a while now. I just want to open the floor for a last question. If anybody has, you've got 3 of our ExCo members on the call this evening. Our Vice President, Elroy Baron, and our finance portfolio holder on ExCo, Christo Wiese. It's a good opportunity now. If you've got any questions, please raise your hand so we can unmute you and add you to the call. But do it quickly. We've already gone over time. Okay, Rian, good evening. How are you? Just unmute yourself.
As ek op live.
Sorry, jy kan praat. Goeienaand. Jy het jouself weer gemute. Daar's hy.
Okay.
Ek wil net daar's hy.
Ek is in vervaardiging, né? Nou die 5% wat nou opgesit word, dit word van die eerste produk wat jy koop en dan ek koop by 'n ou, so ek betaal sy 5% en dan verkoop ek weer my produk, so daai volgende ou betaal die 5%. Nou ek het 'n fabriek wat heidaglik melk verpak. So hoe gaan dit in die toekoms werk soos melk en mieliemeel en daai goed was nou vrygestel van enige belastings of goed wat nou maar vir die armer gemeenskappe gewees het. Nou gaan hulle die melk en mieliemeel en dink rys en 'n klomp produkte het hulle gehad wat nou VAT-free was of tax-free gewees het. Gaan ons dit nog steeds so aanhou of gaan die mense basies op in die voedselketting op alle produkte betaal?
Christo? Hallo, Christo?
Let my probeer unmute hierso. Nee,
there we go.
Ek dink ons sal al daai ding.
Christo, jy het jouself weer unmute of nee? Nou is Christo heeltemal weg. Nee, Christo, jy het jouself weer gemute. Daar's hy.
Kan ek nou werk?
Daar's hy. Okay. Ek hoor jou nou.
Nee, ek ons sal moet daai dinge sal ons moet uitsorteer om vir Rian te antwoord. Dit sal dinge wees wat ons moet uitsorteer met die wat ons die hele idee is jy hou dit baie laag. Jy weet soos ek dink soos Elroy gesê het die begin omdat ons 'n land moet opbou sal dit 5%. Ek persoonlik dink dit is jy weet dit behoort baie laer te wees dan is dit nie 'n groot faktor nie. En om dit die vordering om dit in te vorder gaan die koste huidigelik tans as jy sit is die om belasting te vorder is 'n groot koste. Ek dink hulle spandeer omtrent dit is 'n faktor is omtrent 'n kwart van dit jy weet wat hulle nee dis nie dit is seker 'n bietjie minder maar sê maar dit faktor van 10% van wat hulle jy weet inkry. So jy hele nywerheid wat rondom die weet om dit in te kry en hierdie is 'n baie elegante manier as ek dit so mag stel om dit te vorder.
Heeltemal reg, Christo, en as ek net kan aansluit met wat Rian aangeraak het daarso ook, gaan daar met die nuwe regering en die nuwe geldstelsel, gaan daar onderhandelinge of ruimte wees vir onderhandeling met voorsieningsketting, supply chains en so aan. Want as jy 'n lang supply chain het en jy weet jy betaal net die 5%, dan kan dit miskien nogals duur word aan die einde. So is daai tipe van ding nog oop vir bespreking.
Uiteraard, kyk ons mos nog nou 'n land wat ons begin het, uiteraard sal ons hierdie sal ek sien hier party van die persone wat luister sê 'n think tank.
Christo, ek dink jy breek bietjie op daarso. Jy het nou weggeval. Dit lyk of jou mic nog unmute is, maar jy het heeltemal weggeval. Okay, dit klink vir my Christo het bietjie tegniese probleme daar, miskien is sy bandwidth nie so fantasties as wat dit moet wees nie. Christo, kan jy weer probeer? Ek sien jy's nou gemute. Unmute jouself weer. Daar's hy.
Skiet hy het homself sommer gemute. Ek weet nie hoe dit gebeur nie.
Okay.
Nee, uiteraard volgens dit. Hierdie is nog nie it's not cast in stone, dit is nog in klippe vasgekap nie. Ons sal die ding moet uitsorteer onder die vrydenkers en die harde denkers.
Daar sê.
Hallo?
Rian?
Ja, daar seker. Die ander ding wat ek nou die dag met Pieter oor gesels het is in die ou dae, ek is nou nie so oud nie, maar in die ou dae het hulle ding gehad soos die bonusobligasies, is maar 'n tipe vorm as ons moet geld bymekaar kry en dan het die mense in bonusobligasies belê en dan het dit nou maar gehelp tot die opbou van die land se infrastruktuur.
Kyk, Rian, wat ons eintlik beoog, ons beoog om 'n ontwikkelingsbank daar te stel, die ontwikkelingsbank spesifiek om infrastruktuur op te bou en dit is hierdie bonus op. En die ontwikkelingsbank gaan befonds word. Die wissels wat uitgereik gaan word en verdiskonteer gaan word en dit sal seker maar soos jy sal sê in die mark beskikbaar wees as obligasies. Ja.
Dankie.
Daar sê, okay, ons het ongelukkig nou out of time and I think as we speak more questions come up, but time has caught up with us. Christo and Elroy, thank you so much. I'm definitely going to be asking you guys to come back on again. And for the other people that are on here now, if you have questions, please send them either directly on the channel or directly to Peter de Beer or to myself. And we will just keep them on the shelf for when Christo and Elroy join us again. So, Elroy, is daar nog 'n laaste dingetjie wat jy wil sê voor ons afsluit?
Nee, ek wil miskien net vir Rian Tolkien dankie sê. Ek het baie interessante vrae gevra en Dis natuurlik goed wat ons as die Exco nog moet debatteer. Soos Christo gesê het, alles is hier in custom stone nie. Ons weet daar's baie van ons mense uit al die groepe uit wat baie stikkend is. En ons het nodig om mense soos Rian en ander mense wat werk met voorrade vir mense op die broodlyn wat niks het nie. Ons het nodig om grasie te gee. Ons wil net gaan besluit hoe ons dit gaan uitwerk. Maar dit sal ons by ons volgende vergadering sal dit op die tafel gooi, dat dit fyn uitgewerk word. Maar dankie Tolkien. Rian, is 'n baie interessante vraag wat jy gevra het.
Inderdaad, ja. Dankie. Baie dankie, Elroy. Meneer Pieter Bedeer, het jy ietsie wat jy wil byvoeg ten laaste voor ons afsluit?
Jong, nee, ek dink as Christo en Elroy, ek het maar net so 'n bietjie vroeër gedagte gehad, maar ek dink die onderliggende boodskap hier is, jy weet, ons probeer, ek dink na die beste van vermoë veral hierdie finansiële en ekonomiese stelsels sodanig kry dat dit absoluut tot voordeel van die inwoners gaan wees. Dit is die hele doelwit van hierdie assesseringsprogram, is om die maksimum voordeel terug te gee aan die burgers. En dit is eintlik, dink ek, maar waarna toe ons mik.
Fantasties, baie dankie Pieter. En Christo, aan jou die heel laaste woordjie, as jy iets het wat jy nie vir almal wil sê.
Ja. Nee, ek wil net baie dankie sê vir die geleentheid. Ek dink ons het 'n ideale geleentheid hierso om iets te skep wat vir almal se beswil is. Jy weet, dit gaan dat ons almal moet hierdie ding deurdruk en na sy voleinde toe. En dit is hang van ons elkeen af. Ek is baie positief ingestel en ek wil net vir jou sê baie dankie.
En aan jou ook baie dankie Christo vir jou bydrae en jou inspirasie. So Elroy, het jy nog ietsie wat jy wil byvoeg?
Nee, ek wil maar net vir almal dankie sê wat vanaand deelgeneem het aan die gesprekke. Ons waardeer.
Goed. Ja, nee, ek stem saam, 100%. En baie dankie van my kant af, vir almal wat deelgeneem het. Baie dankie vir ons Exco wat vanaand op die oproep was, en vir die mense wat net kom sit en luister het. Ons het julle almal nodig. Mag asseblief seker laat hierdie opname, wat nou op die kanaal gepos gaan word, ver en wyd uitgaan. Dit was baie interessant en baie leersaam. En ek dink baie mense sal graag ook daarna wil luister om te hoor hoe gaan die finansies werk in ons nuwe land. Baie dankie almal en lekker nag vir julle. Totsiens.
Totsiens.